Any advice or tips would really be appreciated.
Well, I'm glad you called in, and I would say to keep your focus on your sister until they find out what happened to her, and to be strong, and remember who the real victim was. It's Kelli. And I think you know that they have a suspect, a person of interest, I guess is the right legal term. They have a person of interest who was with her last. I know her husband was in Florida, and we know that she went out, like a lot of soldiers do, to have a little bit of fun and relieve that stress. And I believe this guy gave her a ride home, and he was the last one to see her. And I don't think he's cooperating with authorities. That's not unusual. He's a registered sex offender. He is probably, I know police haven't come out and actually announced it, but he's their #1 person of interest. So, and lots of sex offenders know that until the person is found, alive or dead, they don't have to talk. They don't have to cooperate. That's not unusual. But the advice I'd give you is to do everything you can like this. Get Kelli's name on national television. The search will wind down to nothing, and nobody really has much interest in adult missing women. That has been my argument for years. There are so many teenage girls. There are so many young women that go missing in this country. No one ever searched for them. Police always do the best they can, but they always say the same thing. They're an adult. They had a right to run away. It's a free country. They're over 18.
Wow.
Well, wait a second. She was a great student, or this was a, this is a
great
soldier.
soldier, yeah.
This is not normal behavior. She only goes out once in a while. So law enforcement will scale back the search right away. It's always up to the loved ones and relatives to keep it in the forefront. And you certainly have every right, like her husband does, to say to police, what can we do? What can we do to help? And don't buy into the tabloid salacious side of it. Always keep the focus on Kelli. Say, look, I'm her loving brother, and it's wonderful you had the guts to call in tonight. I'm trying to help her as much as I can. I want to find out what happened to her. We need to know, because the not knowing is killing you and everybody else that loves this woman. And try to keep her face in the forefront. Everybody cares about little Isabel Solis, because they should. She's 6 years old. And that story will stay in the press and in the news cycle longer than your sister's. And you've got to try to do the best you can to keep the media involved and people involved till they find out what happened to your sister.
And wouldn't the strategy be, first of all, two things. One, Matt, everyone is praying for your sister, #1. This story has been around HLN for a while now, and our heart goes out to your entire family, #1. #2, wouldn't the strategy be for this guy is to sweat this guy out that they've got in prison? This guy knows what happened.
I'm absolutely sure, based on my own personal experience, this is my own personal opinion.
Which is built on a lot of experience.
30 years of hunting and catching and tracking these guys and talking to them about them and knowing about them. And I wish to God that someday they find a cure or figure out whether it's a chromosome or what. But I know one thing about sex offenders is they don't talk, they don't cooperate. You can't sweat them. And they know one thing. If your sister's alive, I hope that next week she comes home, or somebody has her alive, like J.C. Dugard was kept in the backyard by a convicted level 3 sex offender for 18 years and raped her, and she fathered 2 children. If that's the case, it'll be wonderful. But if it isn't the case, then you have to continue the search, because really bad guys know one thing. There's no case without a body. The odds are your sister's not alive. That's terrible. But the reality is that somebody has to face those consequences, and justice will be an important thing for you, Matt. It'll be a really important thing. And these bad guys know until they find the body, they can't build a case. Prosecutors these days need the smoking gun. They want the video. I say don't stop searching, but people don't search for adult women. They don't mount searches.
This one is staying in the media. Matt, we'll keep an eye on it, okay? Thank you for calling in, my friend.
Thank you. I really appreciate you guys.
It is our pleasure. And hopefully, John, if you need John again, I'm sure you can make yourself available.
I'll do the case again. I mean, you know, one thing, Matt, I put them on my website. And we've caught 40 guys off of our website. Yes, we have solved some of the oldest, coldest cases. I know one thing from Adam's case. 27 years, I believe you don't give up. You go hard, as my wife said. I need to go to my grave knowing who